Hey Sandy, Rob Wild, Swing Vision Pro. Wanted to go ahead and get your video out to you by means of saying happy birthday. And this is my birthday present to you. I bumped you up to the front of the class, and I'm going to ahead and get these out to you. And let's go over some of this stuff. Basically, what I'm going to do at first, Sandy, is this is you right off the street, right as you came in to take lessons from me. And I'm going to let a couple shots roll just so you can see what you were doing. I may or may stop and interject something at some point. And if I don't, I'm just going to bring you back to this position, and then we'll go over some of the things we talked about. Okay? So for the first couple of strokes, I'm just going to let it roll. This is what you were doing when you first came to see me. Here we go. Okay, let's see one more, please. All right, we're going to stop it there, get you back to where we started from. Get you back to just when you're getting ready to pull the trigger, and I'll stop it for you. Okay, here we go. All right, so the first thing, as we talked about, as professionals, the very first thing we look at is the way we set up to the golf ball. Our setup position is going to dictate that if we're able to make a nice fluid swing back and forward through the golf ball. And the three aspects of swing setup we look at is basically two are combined, and that is the knee flex and the weight balance. Okay. So let's look at your knee flex. Take a look, put you on green. So if I take your knee flex from here and go down, you're pretty much back on your laces or the middle part of your foot. And we talked about this. In a perfect world, I would really like to see them more out on the balls of your feet. Okay? So that would really equate to just a little more knee flex. Now let's look at the spine angle, please. But look at spine angle. Initially I've got something like this going on. Okay? Here and then to there. All right. And as we talked about, in an ideal world, if there ever were one, I'd want to see it more like this. Okay? What that would do is allow us to get this head back a little bit, and we talked about that as far as raising the chin as a last kind of swing thought before you pull the trigger. Because what happens, Sandy, is that once we have our head down this far, our chin this is what we call a hanging chin, and as we start to move back into our backswing, at some point with our chin this low, the left shoulder is going to become trapped against the left side of your face. Once that happens, we have only two things that we can do as golfers. We can either sway off the golf ball, which is no good, or we can start to bend our arms at the elbow, which is also no good. Okay? And the other thing I'll bring to your attention right now is that, okay, we got into not a great knee flex, not a horrible knee flex, but not a great one in the beginning. And we worked on that, and I showed you how to get into a better position. But here we go. I'm going to take you halfway back and start to show you where the block starts to occur. Pardon me. So if I start to take you back in your swing, and we'll talk about this pulling away from the golf ball too soon. Okay, right here, you become blocked. Okay, let me move that line out of the way and show you this. There. Okay, what I mean by blocked at this point is that your shoulder is actually higher than your chin. Okay, that is a blocked position, which means the only way we can get this backswing any farther back at this point is to start to bend our arms. And you'll notice soon hereafter you start to bend your arms. Here we go. Pardon me. Right here you're blocked. And now watch that left arm start to bend. Bend, 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 bend. Okay? Bend. All right? So we're blocked here. So what that's going to give us is a little bit, pardon me, wrong tool, grab the right one. That's going to give us a little bit of bend in this arm. It's not as horrible as I've seen some clients, but it's still a 5-degree bend. My other concern is we've come disconnected from our body. If I look at this right elbow and how much area is underneath there, we've got a considerable amount of air under there, which means we've come disconnected from our entire body. So we're going to make more of an arm swing here. And again, I'll highlight this knee flex. We've come out of it, only about 4 inches, but we still come out of it. All right? Pardon me. So I'm going to take you forward for your downswing here. And one thing I want to bring to your attention right here, I'm going to do this in orange so we can see it pretty good. This is the head position at the top of your backswing. Okay? we talked about this head has to stay in pretty straight conjunction with our bodies during our entire swing. What I'm seeing here with you a little bit is that we're lunging forward on our downswing, and right as we get into impact, we're turning around and we're backing and back out of it. Again, we talked about these movements or unnecessary movements as manipulations. Anytime we manipulate, we bring the timing and what we call the devil into our golf swing, okay? And that's what keeps us from being consistent time after time in our strokes. So as I move you forward here, you'll notice the very front of your head will go forward and past this green line. Here we go. There you go. You see how much of that has gone forward? You're almost halfway through your head, all right? So we've really come forward into our golf swing. And you've played this game long enough to know that if you were to stay in this position, you would actually miss this golf ball on the right-hand side. So what happens is, and I'm going to get you another one in here, and let's make it something that we can see a little better. Let's do the yellow here. So this is where you lunged forward to. As you get into the golf swing, by utilizing and recognizing this yellow line, you're going to see that you actually move backwards too. So here we come into the golf swing. See how that head is moving back behind the golf ball there? Okay. And as I talked about before, the only reason you're able to save this is because the very nice release motion of your hands. If we look at your hands right there, that's a very good release motion, all right? So this is the results, okay? As I talked about, this is the dead center of my screen. This is you. You're going right down the right center of the fairway, and you told me you always hit it pretty straight, and this is the reason why. It's the release of that hand. The problem is, with all these other gyrations and everything, we're not ever going to be able to be consistent, okay? We're going to watch it go around to the finish. This is something we talked about at a later date, too. All right, I'm going to stop this, get all this stuff out of the way. You'll see at your finish position, that right foot is still planted firmly on the ground. That tells me you've left about 40% of your weight that could have been distributed into the golf ball had we used a body swing as opposed to an arm swing. Well, you've left about 40% of it back here, okay? And that's why we talked about that orange whip and why I think it would be a good idea for you to acquire one of those. All right, so let's go on up to where we've worked on stuff a little bit. Try to get ourselves in a little bit better position. Let me cheat you up into this where we're getting ready to go here. All right, this is where we were working on getting spine angle, all right? What I need you to remember is when we're making this move, we also need to stay in the knee flex because we established the knee flex first, okay? What you did with me here is you established the knee flex, and then when you went to go up to your parallel position, you straighten the knees out. And we can't do that. We must have those knees continue to be flexed and then straighten our club out. Okay, so I'm going to take you forward. So you'll make the vertical drop that we talked about. Let me cheat you into it a little bit here. You make the vertical drop we talked about. All right. Now you're motioning or getting back into your knee flex a little bit better. We talked about rocking that booty until we feel like it's really into a knee flex position. Okay. Now I want to bring to your attention what we got going on. Let me go forward just a little bit and see if I get a little more knee flex out of you here before we pull the trigger. Okay. And it doesn't appear that I'm going to, but let's see. Never knows. I think I tell you to get into knee flex a little better here. Okay. So we're still not in a great knee flex. But the good thing about it, what we've done, is by making that maneuver down, we've straightened out our spine angle a lot. Okay? This chin is actually higher now. And as we take our backswing and come through, right, we're not getting the blockage. And since we're not getting the blockage, we're allowed and able to keep this arm relatively straight. Nice thing about it too is we're matching the back of that left hand with the club face. So from here, you know, I'd like you in that knee flex position a little bit better. But from here, all we got to do is drop the club back in. Here we come. I'm going to drop it back in. Now if we drop back in with a good hand release, we should see something really nice. Okay. This time, basically, if I look up here again, and take a look at your release position, your hands are still pointing skyward, which tells me we have not released or turned that right hand over to the left at this point, okay? What that's going to create, back you up here, what that's going to create is us coming into the impact zone with our club head open like this, and that's going to make the ball jump to the right. So if I take you a frame up here, and then I follow the trajectory of this golf ball, this is not good, okay? Because this is going to be out of bounds, majorly in the rough or probably out of bounds, okay? So I take you through again. We get you to finish, and again, we're finishing flat foot, all right? So I'm going to take you up some of the very latter stuff that we did. Got you into a much better knee flex position. Now look how we stay. Let me get you into it. I'm getting ready to pull the trigger. I'm going to let this run just a little bit, but I want to bring to your attention your knee flex. Now you're staying in your knee flex while you're giving me a straight out. And again, I would like to see this come a little higher, you know, from under your armpits, basically. So let's get this a little bit higher because we got a little bit of a V going on right here. And I'd like to eliminate that. I'd like to get it completely straight. So when we do our downward torso and arms, it's going to come into line very better. All right, so here we go. I'm going to bring you forward on this. Bear with me here. I'll cheat you forward a little bit. All right, so we start to make our downswing. Good. Then we make an adjustment, and you can see by that red circle, you stayed in your knee flex at this point. Okay? Oh, nice. Head up. Okay, let me get rid of some of this other stuff. Okay. Now, with that head up, let's re-examine the spine angle. Much nicer, much nicer. Now we have actually created an axis. If I were to keep this, take this end down and go into the ground, now we've created a nice knee flex position, which has placed the weight of our, completely weight of our body on the balls of our feet, so we're able to make an athletic move. We've raised our head up, which is going to allow room for that shoulder to travel unimpeded under our the left shoulder to travel unimpeded under our chin, and it's going to give us more stabilization. You've actually widened your stance here too. That's going to help with stabilization and a better platform from which to swing on. So we're going to take you through this. Okay, get you back through here. Let me get you back. Okay, let's see. Let's go forward. Your head popped up. That's all that was. Your head popped up. You didn't keep your head down, so you're not going to be able to make good contact with the golf ball. But here we go. Here we go. And again, right here, as I was saying, last thing I'd like to see is chin up. Right? Let's see if you do that a little bit for me here. Come down. Give me a chin up from right this position right here. Okay. You get a question on something? Here we go. Let's get back in our position. Staying in our knee flex now, okay? Need to stay in that knee flex. We're stepping out of it just a little bit when we start to make this downward torso move. We need to stay into it, okay? Then we get down. And last thing I'd like to see is head back. There you go. So you've come back in line. You're in a beautiful knee flex. You're in a very nice balls of your foot motion. Now we've removed a bunch of manipulations at this point, okay? So I'm going to take you through it. We're going to get back halfway. Halfway, bear with me, please. We're going to get back halfway, okay? We're going to get to the top. Okay, as we get to the top, back you up a little bit. As we get to the top, you see now our chin level is above our shoulder level, okay? That gives us this nice straight left arm. Good. So now we're not having to bend that thing. And again, not only that, it gives us a flat wrist, which correlates to our flat club head. Now we've got to drop it in and turn our hips. So here we go. Incremental. Come in. We're unleashing our hips at the same time. We're coming in. We're making contact with the golf ball. Very nice. Okay. A hair too early, but nothing that I'm going to complain about because, as I said, this is dead center and this is you. Okay. You're about 3 inches off, extremely down the middle. Then let's bring you all the way around to finish. Okay. Again, after this point right here is when we start to work with the orange ball and the orange whip. And so you work on hand and completing more, okay? And what that does for us, again, at this position right here, I see you in, we've left about 40% of our weight back here, okay? We want to use that weight to project the golf ball down the course. So we need to get around to completely from our right side to our left side. That's why I'd recommend that orange whip for you and just working on that, working on that, working on that. And that'll allow you to give you the sensation of making a complete weight transfer. And once we get into that sensation, it's easy to incorporate it into our golf swing. Okay? So that's what I've got for you right now. I want to thank you for your business. I want to thank you for the trust you placed in me. I want to wish you a happy birthday. And for right now, I'm going to wish you a great big one. Aloha.